the hurricane tragedy. Today, the network announced that it will not run promos for a new drama called Invasion because those ads feature a fictional hurricane. As of now, ABC has no plans to cancel the premiere of the show, which is set for September 21st. In the first episode, a hurricane hits the Florida coast, which leads to the show's main plotline.
Okay, we're going to get some rescue boats over here.
Inside the home next door, we hear the voices of children screaming through the walls to be rescued. Turns out there are 15 to 20 people inside. 2 men of children screaming or any other. So we assure them they'll be out soon. We contact the Swiftwater units, and several boats are dispatched for rescues. By night's end, each of the units from California has rescued hundreds of people, but there are still thousands more to rescue. Each of these homes may have someone trapped inside by the rising floodwaters, and then again, it may not.
Those Swiftwater recovery units that we were talking about in our report are not going to be going in the water anytime soon. FEMA's concerned for their safety. They want to make sure they have security for them before they go back out. It's a tough call because there's a lot of people who could really use their help. They have security for them before they go back out. It's a tough call because there's a lot of people who could really use you.
Unbelievable. It is simply unbelievable. Rick Sanchez, appreciate it. Stay safe, Rick. 360 next, survival at sea. CNN's Gary Tuchman, who always finds remarkable stories, found a story that's hard to believe. A man who rode out the storm on his shrimp boat. His story next.
The World in 360 is sponsored by BP. Log on to cnn.com/World in 360 for more on these stories from around the world.
Are oil companies thinking ahead?
Oil companies have victims. A Fox report now from Todd Connor. He's live in New York. Todd.
Shep, as you well know, medical staff trying to treat the sick and injured in New Orleans have faced gunshots, looters, and just plain angry refugees. And at one hospital, dead bodies are piling up because the hospital morgue is underwater. But as you mentioned, it's that stagnant, polluted water from Lake Pontchartrain that has medical experts most concerned over the long term. For refugees with an injury or open cut, just coming into contact with some of this water can lead to serious health problems. And it looks like this cesspool that swamped the city won't go away until the levee is repaired, and that, we know, could be weeks. The water hazards include fuel, natural gas lines, propane tanks, gas station pumps, all damaged or underwater, many leaking, and some, it appears, even catching fire. The lack of clean drinking water also leading to dehydration. Mosquito-borne diseases like West Nile and even encephalitis and malaria could pose problems in the coming weeks. An outbreak of tuberculosis is not out of the question, and one doctor says we may see things like typhoid, cholera, and severe dysentery.
These are highly contagious diseases, and as people begin to experience the diarrhea and vomiting, it'll be spread because we have people in very close quarters now, you know, in the Astrodome or wherever they are, so that coming in contact with a person who has dysentery can easily spread the disease and you have an epidemic.
Dr. Garner saying one of his concerns is also people taking medication that, unknown to them, has been rendered useless because of exposure to the intense heat down there. Diabetics on insulin, for example, is one of those cases. Shep.
Live for us in our newsroom back in New York. I want to take the time now to get a sense of how this catastrophe is affecting people as viewed through the still photographer's lenses. Volunteers in Houston setting up catastrophe is affecting people as viewed through the Astrodome, getting ready to welcome the displaced from New Orleans. Cots already likely filling with New Orleans weary. After a long bus ride from the flooded city, evacuees make their new home inside the Astrodome, temporary. After being winched aboard a helicopter, a woman and child finally safe, finally away from the polluted waters of Hurricane Katrina. And in shattered Biloxi, Mississippi, Old Glory, broken remains of a family home. Well, multiple telethons to raise money for storm relief are beginning to shape up. The first one tomorrow night on NBC and its sibling networks on cable. That'll be hosted by Matt Lauer, and it'll include performances from Harry Connick Jr. and Tim McGraw. Fox, ABC, and CBS are organizing one for next week. Talent and guests to be announced soon. MTV's planning one for the 10th of this month. Jerry Lewis says he'll donate $1 million from this weekend's muscular dystrophy efforts here. Well, Fats Domino is among the missing here in the Crescent City. The singer, known for songs like Blueberry Hill and Ain't That a Shame, lives in a low-lying part of New Orleans. His manager says Fats Domino decided to ride out the storm right there with his wife and daughter. His manager said he last spoke to the singer on Sunday night, but hasn't heard from him since. And reportedly saw him after the storm on a second-floor balcony, but couldn't rescue him because he didn't have a boat. Not a large enough one. Well, the stories of human suffering, too many to count in this city as they line up by the thousands.